Hi, Starting Out Solitary, it's Pandora. I'm here with you, subbing in for Rose for your Friday here on the channel once again. And it is another late upload. I do apologise for that, but it is what it is. And this week we're talking about how often we cast spells. So for me, the answer is going to be that it varies. It varies quite greatly. And I really loved watching Willow Wildmoon's video on this topic where she talked about how sometimes your life circumstances are different and the amount of time and energy and ability that you have to put towards your magical practice is going to vary, and also what you bring to your magical practice in terms of how tired or energetic you are and whether or not you're feeling it magically is going to affect the frequency of your practice as well. And that is quite normal. I think that's normal for everybody. And I don't think that there is a bare minimum of spell casting that you have to do in order to be a real witch. I think that we're all going to have that variation in the frequency of our practice, and there's always going to be times when we are more active in our practice and when things are flowing and we're feeling like we want to cast spells, and other times when we're better off just focusing on other areas of our lives. And a lot of what I have to say on this topic is going to relate back to the video that I did for Subs Weeks a number of weeks ago on whether we practice magic regularly all the time or whether we save it for special occasions. And I think just like that topic, this topic is going to be very unique and individual to each witch, and something that you think about and decide what's right for you. And so for myself personally, there are certain things that I do cast spells for quite a lot and other things that I don't. And lately, like just in the last couple of weeks or so, I have been quite active in my magical practice, and I have been putting energy into spells and feeding my spells quite a lot. So one thing that I don't cast spells for very often is money and finances. I'm generally on top of my finances and I don't have any debt or anything like that, or my bills are paid on time. It would be nice to get ahead a little bit financially, but I actually think the best thing for that is going to be mundane actions, such as focusing on my study and getting a job. So for that reason, I have been doing quite a lot of study spells and magic towards that area, because for a while there I kind of felt like it was a real struggle and I was just running in place and getting nowhere with my study. However, now I feel like I'm finally pushing through that barrier and actually getting somewhere, so I'm not having that struggle anymore. And I don't cast love spells very often because I'm happily married. I do cast friendship spells from time to time, especially around the time that my son was little. I was feeling quite lonely and isolated and like I had nobody to connect with that was like-minded. And I've gone from that to now feeling like I have actually quite an active social calendar that I sometimes have trouble keeping up with, and I have a lot of really genuine friends both online and offline, and so I don't feel that loneliness and isolation as much anymore. So things have gotten better in that department thanks to the magic that I did cast around that time. And so I would say that it's normal to sometimes have times when you're more inclined to do magic than you are at others, and sometimes it is normal to take time for yourself and to focus on self-care and focus on other areas of your life until you're back in that magical flow and the good times are rolling again, and that is quite normal. However, one thing that I do want to say is that sometimes you do need to push through that resistance and work magic towards something that you really feel that you should. And there have been times in my life when I haven't done that. I've had problems in my life that I probably should have put some magic and some magical intent and effort towards that I didn't, such as when I was having study stress in my late teens and early 20s, and certain conflicts in my life where I was in the right and I probably should have fought and stood up for my rights and, you know, even put magic towards that. And there was even a time when my mother-in-law was dying, when there were conflicts in my husband's family with people who should have been putting their own agendas aside and putting her first and making sure that the days, weeks, months and years that she had left were the best possible. And I sort of thought to myself, gosh, I should be casting magic towards this, but I didn't. And I always kind of wonder whether I should have. I mean, I was in a space where I was going through a hard time myself. I was quite fatigued and being pregnant, and like I had small children, and I was tired, and it was hard for me myself. But I think sometimes if you really get that strong sense that you should be magically putting effort towards something, then you absolutely should, even if you do have a bit of resistance, because sometimes you have to use, like, bring about that catalyst for change, and if nothing changes, nothing changes. So that's really all I have to say on this topic. I did want to keep this video short. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!